So in this video, we'll focus more on defining the tags and managing the agent orchestration flow. So for us to define a tags, so I'll just do tags definitions. And for us to define a tags, will first of all give it a name. So we can say researcher tags, underscore tags. And this researcher tags would have the tags class gotten from Crew AI. And now in this tags, we have to pass parameters like name, description, expected outputs, agent assigned to that particular tags, input, and tools. So for name, I can say research tags. And for description, I would give it a detailed description of the tags, because the more detailed the description is, the more clarity that the agents would have when executing that task. And the description here is given the podcast topic using, research the podcast topic using both web search and your own knowledge. And these are the things that I defined here. So now the next thing that I want to do is to define the expected output. And in the expected outputs, I'm asking it to make a research summary, of 3 to 6 paragraph covering recent trends, must ask questions, relevant statistics, etc, etc. This is for me to define how I want my output to look like from each of the agents. And if I want like a very custom output, like ensure that this is in markdown or ensure that this is in a JSON format, defining it in the expected output is the way to go. So the next thing to do would be to define the agent, the input, and the tools. Now the agent for this researcher task would be researcher agent, and the input. So I want to take an input from the Streamlit UI and pass it to this agent. And the tool I want to use, actually the only tool that I have defined here, is the web search tool. So this is the format on how to create the researcher tags. Now that I've gotten this out of the way, I can use the same format to go ahead and create for the writer tags. Now for the writer tags, I'm going to pass the same parameter: name, description, expected output, agent, and the input. But this time around, for the input, I'm not getting the input from the Streamlit UI. Instead, I am passing the inputs that I'm passing the outputs that I get from the researcher tags, or the researcher agent. I am passing that to the writer tags, and this is to help give the agents context when executing this task. And with that, I can still go ahead and define the editor tags. And for the editor tags too, I am now taking the output from the writer tags and passing it to the editor tags as some sort of context to help the editor tags. Because in the editor tags, I am editing and reviewing and refining the edited podcast scripts. And this is how you can define your tags in Crew AI. So now that we have defined this, the last thing that we would do in this video would be for the Crew orchestration. And in this Crew orchestration, I would use the Crew class gotten from Crew AI, and I'll be passing things like the agents, the tags, the process. That's how I want the agents to interact with each other. And lastly, the verbosity of the multi-agency system. And now I have passed all the agents and assigned all tasks, and then assign a process. Now for the process, I chose the sequential format, which means It's should go in sequence. So from the writer agent to from the researcher agents to the writer agents to the editor agent. And then this is for the verbosity of the crew of the multi-agent system. So this is how to manage multi-agent system orchestration using crew AI. Now in the next video we'll see how to create a function that would handle audio generation using Spitch's text to speech.